Am I the asshole for moving out immediately after my terrible sister signed the lease only in her name? Throwaway because I don't want my clients to see. A bit of background, my 23F mom was always kind of abusive growing up. It was bit less heavy on my sister, 18F, but not by much. Saving from summer jobs, I got a tablet, started selling art and moved out as soon as I hit 18. I haven't had much contact, but I guess in this 4 years mom changed, because she offered to pay for sis college. Sis wanted to move in with me to save and I agreed. She was waitlisted, so she ended up moving in after the lease was already renewed, in my name only. The room she moved in was small, my ex-art studio, and knowing the job she got had few hours, we agreed on splitting rent plus expenses 70/30. She was a bit iffy about my job, but I explained it's all done legally, I pay taxes, save for retirement etc. It all went to shit when she came in my room without knocking, saw me drawing furry porn, and freaked out. She immediately called mom. Sis has much more contact than me since mom is sending her an allowance and money for bills, which she has never even offered to do for me. I tried to calm her down but she refused to talk to me, till dinner, when she snarked about my job. I pointed out it was hypocritical when she was eating food bought with that job's money. She didn't reply. Things escalated, she was very dismissive. Her and mom kept saying she was the only one lawfully employed and made jokes. I explained again it was all legal but that wasn't the point. Sis started to do nothing, she was the only one with a job, so she didn't have to cook, get food, clean. Mom stopped sending money, which I had assumed would happen anyway. The running commentary just went on and on. Once, I snapped and replied that when we signed the lease we'd be equal at least in that. She looked confused and went research about leases but I thought nothing much of it. In February, she sits me down, mom on speaker, and they started going off on how since she was the only one with a real job, sis should be the only one on the lease. Once again I explain about my job, I have savings, I afforded this place for 5 years. They just kept making jokes and I give up. I call a good friend, explain the situation and that at this point I'm not comfortable here. We decide that on March 1st, when sis signs, I would move with her instead. Where my friend thinks I'm the A, I didn't tell sis. I was so exhausted I just didn't want to deal with it. If she wants all the authority she can take the risk too. I still paid for March so she had 30 days to find a roommate, break the lease, college town, you just pay a month of rent to get out. She could even move back home since all her classes, work is online. March 26th and she has done nothing but call me demanding I go back. My friend understands but thinks I should have let sis prepare. I think that if you want me to have no legal rights I don't have to pay 85% of the expenses while being ridiculed for it. So am I the asshole for leaving my sister with a lease she can't afford? Not the asshole. I think you already know you aren't but I am agreeing with you. I can see that your friend could be worried that you'll do the same thing to them when the time comes for you to move out but given that your friend isn't likely to ridicule you for your source of income, I don't find that likely but you could always put it in writing with them if it's a concern. Not the asshole. She deserved it. I will never understand why people insist on being the bigger person. I'm tired of being the bigger person. If someone is an asshole they deserve to get what they give to others. Not the asshole. If you're not on the lease, you don't have to stay. If they don't want you on the lease, then they should know you have no obligation to the apartment. Furthermore, if they're going to criticize your job, then they don't deserve any of the money you make from it. Not the asshole. I don't understand furry porn but I respect the balls it takes to make it, and the money it reels in. Info: how did she manage to just take your place from you, and have the lease only in her name? It seems like she couldn't do that unless you let it happen. You were nice enough to let her move into your place, at a low cost, and the lease was in your name only. When she and your mom made you sit down and listen to them tell you she would be the only one on the new lease, you should have just laughed in their faces and told her she is not on the current lease, she has no basis to make any claims on anything, and she has 30 days to find somewhere else to live since she has such a problem with you. I don't get why you would just let her take your apartment like that. Not the asshole. But I don't understand your actions here. You lived in that apartment for 5 years and your name was on the lease. Why did you let your sister, mom change it? Also, why did you keep up the 70/30 agreement while she did nothing around the house and kept insulting you? You need to grow a spine. Also, block your mom and sister. Not the asshole. Might as well block the sister and the rest of the family from all forms of communication. They are vested in making you the bad one no matter what you do. Stay well away, live your life, enjoy all you attain, have your best revenge. Not the asshole as you said, what you're doing is legal, you're doing everything right, paying taxes, saving, paying for the bulk of her room and board. This is a play stupid games, win stupid prizes situation. Your sister took advantage, treated you like crap, and then was somehow surprised when you took yourself out of the situation. I would have suggested you move out and away from her if you hadn't already. Not the asshole. You have no lease, and you essentially gave her 30 days notice for you moving out by paying 1 month's rent. No lease is functionally month to month. Not the asshole. She mooched off of you, demeaned you and ran to mama to tattle on you. She was persistently verbally abusive. You have no obligation to continue carrying her. I understand why you gave her little notice, it's the same advice often given to people in abusive relationships: do what you need to do to escape safely. That is what you did. Consider blocking both of them while you recover. Best wishes. Not the asshole. She made fun of you and your financial situation. She bragged being the only one with a job. She could have moved back home or got a roommate, so she can afford the apartment. Not the asshole. Serves her right. Not the asshole. She's an idiot and an asshole for literally biting the hand that has been feeding and housing her. They've got what they deserved, and I think you should really consider going no contact. Info. Sorry, I may have missed it. At what point did she renew the lease in her name only? Why did you and your landlord allow that? NYA. She is a sanctimonious asshole and karma just swooped in to give her a dose of reality. Not the asshole. Should you have told her in advance? Sure. But all of her emotional abuse is enough cause for you to just take your stuff and leave. Good for you. Not the asshole. The moment she signed the lease was the moment when she accepted full responsibility for the lease. Not the asshole. I would have done the same thing. You did tell her you were moving out. You gave her 30 days notice. That's the legal requirement in most places. Not the asshole. Your job is as an artist, it doesn't matter what the art is, leave her high and dry and let her learn from her mistakes so she can grow from them. Not the asshole. If you had a normal healthy relationship with her and your mom, it would have been nice for you to give them a heads up about moving out, but considering how they've been acting, it was probably wise to not tell them. Not the asshole. Furry porn art pays a lot lol. Artist to artist, get that furry porn coin heart. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. A bit off topic, but do you have any tips, resources for lighting in digital art? I'm really not sure where to look. Not the asshole. Block your sister and let go. You had a job, you paid more than your share of expenses. She's an entitled brat and now she can pay her own rent. If it were me, sis would have been leaving the apartment. Not the asshole. Just remind her, you don't have a job to pay for it. Your friend won't truly understand why your sister doesn't deserve the warning because she is close to the situation but not close enough to see it all. Not the asshole. She has a real job, she can pay for everything on her own. Sounds like your mother just rubbed off on her. NTA. I just want to say, as a fellow furry porn artist, the idea that this isn't a real job is hilarious. Being a freelance artist is no joke. Between communicating with, sometimes difficult, clients, advertising, potentially designing merch, maybe streaming, social media building, upkeep of digital, traditional supplies, I just spent $1,000 on a new computer because my art program was running rough. Tablets are expensive too. Not to mention the back pain and or wrist issues you can have. There's not really a lot of time where you can just turn off and step away from your job. So, yeah, you're valid as heck. It all went to shit when she came in my room without knocking, saw me drawing furry porn, and freaked out. Holy shit, I was not expecting that. Not the asshole. Wouldn't your sister have to qualify to be able to sign a lease? If she qualifies for the lease, she can pay for the lease. Not the asshole. When something invades another's space and takes over, it's called a virus. Wait, if she's the only one with a real job, how does she expect you to chip in for rent and all expenses? If AHE wants you back, she should provide for you since she has a real cob and you don't. SMH. Not the asshole. Don't worry, she had it coming and she deserves it. Had you told her, it would have just been 1 month of hypocrisy and manipulation to keep you there until lease was signed, and then back to reality, and then pre-lease suck-up period, and before you know it you're in a loop of endless manipulation. Generally it's not nice to do that, but in this case I'm sure it wouldn't have worked out. Not the asshole. You left a toxic situation in a way that some would call unfair, But I think it was perfectly fair and such because of how you left her with a month, and even that is good of you after the abuse of but her and your mom ganging up on you. And, just as an aside, your job is completely legal and it's awful to be job shamed just because it isn't IDK mainstream. But I think it takes a lot of guts and talent to make art and kudos on being able to do that and make a living. Good luck, random stranger. I wish you the best. Not the asshole. Your sister mooches off of you, then insults your profession and decides to kick her mooching off into overdrive. Meanwhile, your horrible abusive mom hears about this and decides to support, encourage, and force, by withdrawing her allowance, your sister to mooch even more. Move out, tell nobody, and never talk to those people again. They do not respect you. Not the asshole. She wanted to be the only one on the lease and now she is. She had a month to find a roommate since you paid for March even though you left. She and your mom played a game on you and they lost. Your sister can demand a way but there's nothing she can do about it. I would block them so you don't have to listen to them anymore. ETA your sister and mom lack maturity and seem very controlling. But letting her sign when you knew you were out seems pretty vindictive. I think if anything you should have told her the lease was going in your name only, it was your place first after all, and you were giving her XX day notice to vacate cause it's just not working out. In fact you could still do that. She might be able to break the lease for free or at a reduced fee if she transfers it to you. Get your house back. Not the asshole for moving out. You're an adult and you get to decide what you do for a living. The money you've earned from your job is yours and if someone is living off it like your sis, she best be appreciative since she's benefiting here. A bit of an asshole when you just left her in the lurch without notice but I don't expect you to actually help her since she was the one asking for trouble by harassing you with jokes that were uncalled for and not doing her part in the house. She wanted to be the one with a real job and be the only one on the lease, so you granted her wish and let her have it. Not the asshole. You gave 30 days notice. Why is she demanding you go back? You could ask her why she wants a person without a job to be her roommate. Adulting sucks. Not the asshole. Your sister and mom are bullying and mentally abusing you because you make money drawing furry porn. The fact that you can make a living off of that is amazing. Not the asshole at all. How can you be the asshole for giving her what she wanted? She wanted to have the lease in her name, now it is. Also, you paid for the entire month, which is sufficient notice. 30 days to find someone to room with her is the equivalent of a proper notice. Not the asshole. I understand why you left. Your sister's a total R. She deserved not to be told. Your friends obviously don't know what it's like having a toxic narcissist for a sibling. Cut your mom and sister out. They are both toxic. Not the asshole. You moved out to get away from your abusive mother. Why would you want to live with a little carbon copy of her? Not the asshole for what you did. But I was very close with going with you are the asshole, unless I missed something, simply because you should have just kicked sis out of your apartment that you have been paying for everything. Could you not have refused to let your sister get on the lease? If it was in your name, could you have just refused and kicked her out? Not the asshole. You realize you don't have to keep the family you were born with, right? Just a thought. Not the asshole. It was smart that you didn't let your sister know in advance. She most likely would have tried to screw you over somehow, had she known. Now she can deal with her lawfully employed self, learn to adult and take responsibility. NTA and your sister is a stupid nutjob. You can make tons of money with furry porn. Creating art or writing for a living are real jobs. Always makes me laugh when people act like an ass and then get surprised when it blows up in their face. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your sister is judgmental, ungrateful, entitled, and disrespectful. There's not much more to say other than she made your life so bad, after you extended a helping hand, that you had to leave your own apartment. She can be loved from arm's reach, if she changes and apologizes sincerely, but your mother should have no part in your life at all anymore. Your friend is just playing devil's advocate for the principle of family, which I find is crap, but not a reason to really get upset with the friend unless she pushes it too far. Just tell her everything is fine and your sister needs the wake-up call anyway, but more importantly, you needed the escape mentally, which meant not fighting with her more. Something I learned in my early 20s was that people who have never had to escape an abusive environment have no clue how to support someone who has. In my case, the oblivious friends weren't usually malicious, they just give advice expecting that giving the abusive person a reasonable, normal, response or boundary will result in de-escalation or a reasonable response from the abuser. Your solution may have been abrupt, but you still gave your sister enough time to easily sort out other arrangements. Don't feel bad. The friend calling you an asshole doesn't have a true understanding of the situation. Honestly, good for you.